Girl, you'll be asking the good questions. I wanted to drop out of computer science. In the class, the lecturer is like, okay, so what languages do people know? And in my head, I'm like, okay, looking at the class, no one looks foreign. We're all Kenyan. Hey, so why would you ask Ati what languages or whatnot? So I'm expecting Swahili, English. Hey, maybe ukienda sana French. And that was the beginning of imposter syndrome. There's a time I also convinced myself that maybe this is a men's thing. Because I'm like, Mbona, why is it not getting into my head? Mbona si there has to be something in that, Y chromosome that Mimi, I cannot relate. I remember one of the coding interviews we were having, and I kept on switching languages. I was doing Python. Kidogo, I'm like, no, wait, let me switch. Because now I'm like, I can't remember that function to do this. Because I've also not been practicing. Yeah. Tech is what is going to make you be in the same room with people like Bill Gates or Viola Davis. Be audacious. Go for it. Aki, don't tell yourself no.
Beryl! Woo! Fun fact, guys, I have interviewed Beryl before. Back when I was broke, I interviewed her on Instagram Live. I think, Kevin, you'll put something about this.
Hi, Beryl. Awesome.
Hi,
Beryl.
Hi. You can see me, right?
I can see you very clearly. You look so good.
Oh, thank you. Just from work, so haven't changed.
All right. Let's get started. So I like to start this session with a little, icebreaker.
So I'm so happy to finally interview you in person.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
You look very beautiful.
Hey, do you know, I used to see your interviews and I was like, Kwani Fiana in Italy? Low-key, I was like, what are we seeing here on the bed?
Why is it Fian? You have been on my list for a while.
Clearly.
Yeah. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Now, Beryl, I have someone I would like you to meet. Ni msichana mrembo sana mdogo,
period.
And I want you to tell us where she was at this point in
body
in life.
Okay.
Tell her about where you are at.
So I think this time I was in campus, probably first or second year. Bro, I was trying to figure out life. So I would tell her, man, things just got better, way better than I thought. Because I think at that time I wanted to drop out of computer science. So we'll get into that.
Yes.
But I'm like, hey sis, you did it,
Wow, yeah.
And I remember she used to love to go to tech events and see these ladies coming, giving speeches, drive off. And they was just so classy. And I was like, man, nataka tu kama hiyo. Exactly. So she'd be very proud actually of her future version, which is me. Yeah. So yeah, just keep at it.
Na umekuwa huyo exactly.
Exactly. That's crazy. On the eyebrows.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Actually, I was like, where did you get this photo? Because I don't think this photo is up anywhere.
Research team.
Wow.
Come on.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
So in first year, there's a lecturer aliuliza class, mnajua languages gani? Na ukasema Kiswahili na English.
Yep.
And today you're a Microsoft engineer. Come on.
God.
So at the beginning, you said you struggled a lot, and that was evidence too. You were just like a newbie in tech, and you initially wanted to do medicine.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
First, take us through that specific pivot or moment of disappointment or I really wanted to do this, now I'm gonna have to do this. A lot of people are probably in the same situation. How did you shift your mindset towards something else?
Whew, that's a heavy question. Bulky.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wanted to do med because, well, that was my high school dream. Like when I was in Form 2, I was like, I'm good in biology. I was good in the sciences, like ata Shiriki, maths, nini. But then the languages I used to struggle. So I was very science oriented. And so medicine just made sense for me. Like I remember there's a time this teacher came and he was like, yeah, we're going to have like a photo shoot and then you take a picture with the career that you'd want to, pursue. And I had like a stethoscope, I had a coat. I still have that picture somewhere. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a doctor. I loved biology. Like it was guaranteed that I was going to pursue it. But when we did the KCSE exams, I got an A of 82 and not 84. So it was just like, man, I could pursue medicine in another university somewhere in Kenya or elsewhere, but my goal was set at UON specifically. If I was going to do medicine, it was UON. If it's not UON, I'm not doing medicine. And this comes from, so when I finished my primary education, I went to a high school in Shags, and I had a tough time. It was in Kitale. So I was like, wow, campus, I cannot afford not to be back in Nairobi. So that's why I was very focused on UON. And yeah, so when I didn't get the marks, I was like, okay, so what else is there to be done? Because at this point I had the mindset of, I knew I was smart. So I was like, it's just a matter of deciding what else am I going to figure it out. And I'm just like, I'm going to ace it anyway. Like I know that I'm quick to adapt to new environments. So that was my mindset. So the pivot happened when now I was like, okay, I can't do med. Called my deskie. She was called Cynthia Love. So I called her and I was like, hey, umechagua nini? So when you was picking your courses, and she was like, my first option is computer science, JQuat. I was like, oh, computer science, I've never heard about it, but I know her big brother was doing had done computer science. I was like, okay, computer science, nice. I'm also doing computer science. So I wrote first choice, computer science, UON. Yeah.
Then you got in.
That's how I was called. Me not knowing what computer science is all about, not even knowing, I just knew it was computer science, nothing more, nothing less.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had no idea. So ukasema English na Kiswahili ndio the languages. And take me through the adjustment, because from what you shared, you struggled a bit. You struggled a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
So take me through that. You almost dropped out in second year. To take us through that season.
Okay. So I joined first year 2016. Computer science class, we were so many, but I could also see like the disparity in numbers of female to the male students. So I was like, okay, so this is engineering. Okay. I hadn't quite clocked what I was signing myself into. So I just go because I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about. And remember, no one in our family has done a tech course, really. Because, everyone is expecting, okay, you pass your exams, you're doing either the traditional courses. So me, I'm out there trying to figure it out. Yeah. So in the class, the lecturer is like, okay, so what languages do people know? And in my head, I'm like, okay, looking at the class, no one looks foreign. We are all Kenyans. So why would you ask Ati what languages or whatnot? So me, I'm expecting Swahili, English. Hey, maybe ukienda sana French. Nasikia Java, Python. Hey, C sharp, Nico. Huku what? Like literally, where are we?
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of imposter syndrome. Like that's when I was like, bas. Huyu amepotea, and this is definitely an imposter amongst people who knew what they were doing. And also considering like I studied outside of the city, you come back and it's like, oh, so the city students, it's like they have this exposure. Some of them wametoka sijui boot camp. So wanawashtua huko. First of all, I don't know what this is about. And then even that class, because we were doing C, I couldn't understand anything. Because I was like, for me to understand, it has to make logical sense. So I'm asking someone, why are we writing scan F before print F? And they tell you, we just do it like that. It's always done like that. So I'm like, in my head, I cannot just go with that as something, like give me something more. And that's something I didn't get. So I struggled, of course, because I also didn't understand what exactly you were trying to achieve. It's not someone telling you we're building an app that would do this. That wasn't clear. And I feel like the lecturer was also going with the students who knew. So it's like, nyie mnajua, so let's proceed. But like it was not with the beginners. And so for me, that was the beginning of my struggle with programming. And I was like, yeah, this is not for me. Wow. I can't do it. So I struggled. Second year, talked to my mom's friend, and I was like, I want to drop out. I really want to drop out of this because I don't understand what you're doing. In as much as I'm passing my exams, like, kukram and everything, but there was nothing solid for me. And I don't know if it's divine or by chance that year when I was just about to drop out, I got selected to represent Kenya in the Miss Geek competition in Kigali. So it was an all trip paid to Kigali, which is so interesting because for me at that point I was like, oh wait, maybe tech isn't that bad. I mean,
the trip.
My first international trip. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, so that's what kept me in tech at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did they select you?
I applied last minute. And there's something maybe I'll talk about later about community and networking. But I was in a community of people who were exposed to opportunities. So the year before, I knew someone who had gone for the same competition. And then the next year, she was like, Beryl, just apply. So I submitted a solution. So you submit an application where you come up with a problem. Mine was on blockchain. And then once you submit, by then 2018. So you submit it and then they review applications and then they select just one person from every country to just go pitch, stay there for like 10 days and then finally you do it to a bigger audience. So
interesting, because if it was somebody else, especially because ulikuwa umesema hii kitu si yangu, many people would have disconnected from it, but you are still in community, you are still trying, you are still kind of present.
Yes.
Tell me, what was it?
I say this a lot, and I think my journey, I know, my journey has strongly been supported by community, networking, and mentorship. Yeah, I could all tie them into one thing, but those are the different aspects of it because in 2018, that's when I joined Kamilimu. So this is the tech mentorship for students in campus. So it was just like we'd meet twice a week or so, and then we would meet. If let's say, for example, you're at a place where you are unsure of things, we would meet together as students and then, so getting to interact with many people who you're all suffering with the same thing or having the same problems, you will now start thinking of solutions. And Dr. Chao, who's the lead, was very supportive. And we graduated and then we kept those ties. And even right now, some of them are my colleagues. So it is wonderful to see what community can do.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So that's what kind of kept you still holding on a bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at what point did you say, okay, I'm going to continue with this was it after Kigali or?
Hey, Kigali was good.
You're like, this one.
Nah, Kigali was fire. Kigali was really nice. And it was my first time on a plane. It was my first time outside Kenya. So I was like, this tech thingy, by the way, there's kuna kitu. So I stayed. And when I came back, I feel also the exposure of just seeing how people would just like marvel at your idea and take interest in what you want to do. And I was like, and then you would hear maybe the solutions of other participants and you'd be like, wow. Like the girls are really coming up with innovative stuff that could really help Africa. So for me, that was like, in as much as I wanted to do medicine to save people's life, like there's a way you can do it still in tech. And so I was like, so maybe I'm not lost, So that's how the transition sort of happened.
There's someone who is probably in the same is at crossroads and they're wondering, I don't feel like I'm good at this thing. So is it that should I keep leaning in or should I find what I'm good at? Because I think that's such a critical decision, especially one that I don't know if you felt that you are good at it or you are not good at it. When should I fight or hold on?
Yeah, that's a heavy one. Um, yeah, that's heavy. Because I also feel like people's circumstances are different, and we also don't want to glorify suffering. It's like, how would you know, like, nimefika mwisho and this is not for me? So for me, I was like, I'm gonna try everything possible so that when I leave it, I'll say I did my level best. I have reached out to people, I have joined community, I have tried a different way, and one of those actually worked. Because even I remember when I was in my second year, third year actually, where I required to do an internship. I didn't know how to code. Like, I was still struggling with that concept. So I made a conscious decision to join a startup where they will make me write code. You know, like, because I know for them I'm gonna need to like do my project. So I need to, you know, make my skills relevant by the time I'm getting there. So you would find some people get internships and they're given like, when to let a chai, like you're not really, connect the routers, doing networking, whatever, but you're not really tapping into what you want to grow or being very specific on the area that you wanted to grow. So for me personally, I knew I wanted to know how to do this thing. I wanted to figure out coding so that I would figure it out and then leave it. I'd be like, okay, haiku ilemea. I still did it, and now it's not my thing. I will leave it. But I didn't want to give up on it. I feel like it's just my personal nature. I'm stubborn. So it's like, Alpana, I have to try and figure this out. And so when I went for that internship is when now I started to make out what exactly was happening in the coding or technology space.
I've never shared this with you, but I really, really admire that about you.
Oh, really?
Thank you pushed through discomfort that many people, including myself, initially coding is not like the easiest thing. You pushed through that discomfort and came out the other side a big winner. So really, really mad props for that.
Thank you.
Come on,
Thank
girl. Not just high fives. Do we have flowers in the room, guys?
Oh, wow.
Come on.
It's been a minute since I got some flowers.
Today is the day.
Day.
I truly, truly admire that because I also felt that coding wasn't for me, but you pushed through that discomfort. And for that, and for everything we will talk about,
this is so
thank
pretty.
you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
on.
Really nice flowers. Thank you. Can I just hold them the whole time? Okay.
Yeah. At this point, when you went to Kigali, you were coding?
Not
really.
so much.
Okay.
Just assignments, like assignments done.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Okay. At what point did you start building your skill? Was it when you went for the internship?
Yes.
Okay.
So also just to mention community again, I joined a startup which was being run by one of my friends. We were in the same campus during fourth year, I was in second year. So when we were talking, he was like, oh, by the way, you should pass by and see what we do. And I was like, okay, can I join you guys? And that's how I got to work for them. And you know, that was my first enterprise experience in tech, because all these other things, it's like school related. But now seeing product end to end, in as much as you're the PM, you are the developer, you are the QA, like just being able to see the end goal. And I like, because the startup is like fast paced, so I got to learn so much in just 3 months. So yeah, I got to start now picking up interest, and they really took time to train me, which sometimes also, to mention, in as much as someone might be willing to train you, you must also be willing to accept it, you know, because sometimes you can just be like, me, I don't want it, you know. So I poured myself into also receiving. So I used to do a lot of tutorials on just to see how things were being done, and they were also patient with me as I was learning. So that sort of started now building a base into what now I started building way after. Yeah.
Did you feel like you're good at it, or I'm kind of still struggling at this point?
At this point, I feel like I was still struggling in as much as I could understand. We were doing the MVC. So it was just like, okay, so this is how backend and frontend interact. So I was able to now see the bigger picture that I was missing from my first year class. So now I was able to be like, oh, so this is how we do stuff. But I was still struggling with the fundamentals of like data structures and algorithms, which is like the base, you know? So it's like, okay, what am I going to do with this if I don't have the base?
Are you still doubtful at this point?
No.
Okay.
No.
You're like,
now
full
I'm confident,
throttle.
like, please bring it on.
Oh, okay. All right. Take us through the journey after that.
So COVID, of course, happened. Of course, I was done with my internship, and then I went back to complete my undergrad, so computer science. So by the time I was finishing my first semester, COVID hit. This is in March. And now it was like, okay, school has paused. There's nothing much really going on. It's like you're just pushing your project here and there. And maybe also to mention, having a proper working laptop is also a determinant of whether you can be able to advance your skills. Because I struggled having because at home, it's like no one has ever done tech. So if you tell people like, I'm doing this is like what I need to accomplish my task, they're like, really, do you need it?
Yeah, sure.
But it's like, I need a laptop and a proper laptop. So I suffered because I didn't have, so sometimes I would go to school and write code on the school machines. But for you to be able to practice, you also need to do it at your free time. So that was also a challenge. And I think I've lost my train of thoughts.
So at this point, you're practicing, but occasionally,
I was talking about how I moved.
Yeah.
Okay. So by the time COVID came, I had spoke to one of my friends, Rosiana. She was at the time an intern for a vendor for Microsoft. And as we were coming from a tech events, also I attended a lot of events. As we were coming and we were working, I was just like admiring her. And I was like, wow, you work for Microsoft?
Yeah,
oh, girl.
Yeah.
One day I hope I can be able to join you. But then she was like, oh, actually, there's a program that is coming up. You should check it out. I'll let you know once it goes live. I was like, bet. I'll be looking out for the communication. And sure enough, when it was called Microsoft Leap, when they came up with a call for applications, she sent it to me. I was like, but then I'm looking at the what they were looking for, the requirements, and I'm like, I haven't even met half of them. So they wanted people who had finished school. I was still in 4th year. They wanted people who had been outside of school for like 6 months plus. I was still in school. Like I was. I didn't meet
qualify.
But one thing about me, stubborn, I was like, let them tell me I know, but I won't tell myself. So I put in an application there. I mean, it was like 3 rounds of interviews, but I still came out successful on the other side.
Wow.
So I was one of the 10 ladies who joined that program where they were trying to upskill software engineers so that they can also apply for the roles at the Microsoft ADC.
What do you think is the thing that helped you get that?
Confidence, bro. Confidence. Because at the time, bro, I was struggling with coding. I was struggling. I remember one of the coding interviews we were having, and I kept on switching languages. I was doing Python. Kidogo, I'm like, no, wait, let me switch. Because now I'm like, I can't remember that function to do this. Because I've also not been practicing.
Yes.
So it was just like, but the confidence I had, I'm also trying to talk to the interviewer like, I feel like this is how we can do this. In as much as I was like, even if they don't take me, I'll at least know what they would be looking for. So we had a good conversation with the guy. And I think for them, it was just a matter of, because it was a program to actually teach you and train you. Maybe they were looking for something much more than the technical skills. So I think that's one of the things that could have given me an edge, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So I was like talking through it. I wasn't shy. I was just like, of course I'm sweating, but I'm still gonna present myself as a worthy candidate to be taken, trained, and mkini train, and then you see, okay, here Jenna Mahali, then you can let me go. But they took me and I enjoyed that 6 months program.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And did they ask about you not finishing school?
No, apparently never came up.
Interesting.
Because I feel like, when people call for applications and people would automatically not apply, I feel like maybe even the people who got even there, we were very few that they were like, okay, so what do we have left? And then they end up picking you because you applied anyway. Because if I hadn't, then, And that wasn't just the only one. We were actually 2 who were still in school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
the audacious.
Okay, audacity. Okay.
Yeah.
So if there's, because right now the tech space is a bit is quite competitive. More people, roles are not, I think roles are growing. So what would you say to that person who's like, sikuna watu sai tech imejaa, it's kind of flooded. If I'm looking at this role and feeling a bit unqualified, because most of us don't apply until we are fully qualified.
Which is sad. Because I honestly don't think there's a point. Because also tech, you have to keep on learning. So at what point would someone be like, okay, I'm good, now let me apply? Of course, there's that basic that you have to, build up over time. But I don't think utafika mahali and you're like, bas, I've figured it all out. Yeah. Naweza sema niko na mom brain, but I ain't got no kids. Yeah.
Okay, so Audacity. Okay. That's what you would tell them, just be audacious, keep.
And also network, because some of these things, man, which also I also feel for the introverts, but man, there's that horizontal networking.
Yes,
it doesn't have to be vertical. You're trying to move to the CEO and try to approach them and talk. I'm like, I was with Rosiana in school.
Yeah.
That was what that was my network at the time. So don't sleep on those networks that you already have at school, mentorships or tech events that you get to meet. You would be surprised by what they can actually expose you to. So I usually, for me, I feel like that's what has actually worked out for me. Those horizontal networking.
Okay. Yeah. So now you joined the program?
Yes. Oh my, yes, I do. And I was super excited. I just remember receiving a call, and it was just during that COVID time. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. I feel like I was even more excited when I got the offer. Because that was like, this could be it.
Yes.
This could be the beginning of something new.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember receiving the call from Carol. Now we are very good friends. And it's like, hi, I'm calling you from Microsoft. I was like, I'm about to die. And it was in the morning. I just went to my mom's bedroom and I was jumping.
Screaming,
I was like, oh my God, wanna talk a block? But yeah, it was, wow. Yeah, so I get into the program, we do. And for me, this is the first time I was actually coding with women. First time, because also all our lecturers are male. We only had one female lecturer. So in my head, I always knew that, he field kidogo is the gender is not giving equality. So I was like, hey, okay. Actually, I remember there's a time I also convinced myself that maybe this is a men's thing. Because I'm like, why is it not getting into my head? Sielewi. There has to be something in that, Y chromosome that Mimi, imekata, I cannot relate. So this was like a breath of fresh air, just meeting as girls, and then unasikia too, they're so smart, talking about this, wanaongelea hash sets, dictionaries. Okay. They were really good. So learning with them was also an awakening for me. I was like, oh, so you mean we can also do it? Something I had not experienced before. And I also remember the leader of that program was a woman, and she was super good. Until today, I don't think I've met a software engineer as good as she is.
Oh, wow.
She was she used to give us solutions to problems, algorithms. And the way she's written them, you're just looking at the code and then you're turning your head in how did you even think about this? And she would write very efficient algorithms. They would get 100% on codility, time and space efficient. So I was like, wow. So missing her was all I needed. Honestly, that's all I needed. Because from then on, it was just if she can do it, then that means I can do it. And so she was my mentor for a very long time during that program. And it got to a point where we became so good, she would send us questions and expect us to give her different versions of the answers. And now there was actually, also just to mention, coding is not hard. It just depends with how it was introduced to you. Because this time I was learning C#, and I was like, you mean this thing has been this way all along? I found it to be, now when I was struggling with explaining scanf, printf, now tumekuja C# and now everything is making sense. And I'm like, then why was it hard in the first place? But the way it was just being introduced, and then you're also being told why we're doing this, getting the whys was also very important. So yeah, my brain was appreciating that compared to, we always just do it like this. Yeah.
So were you practicing, like, aside from what you were learning? How was this program?
You know, it's crazy because I used to code even on weekends, on my free time. And mind you, they gave us laptops. That was the fastest laptop I ever got, like I ever worked with. Like, it was so fast. I was like, because then it gives you even the encouragement to write code, because it's like, wow, it's not taking 10 minutes to like boot up. It's like, it's already on. It's fast. It's slick. It was just the best. So I would just code on like random times. I'm like, or I'm walking and I'm thinking of something and I'm like, oh yeah, I would actually like to try it out in code. So that was my life. I code during the day. In the evening, I'm taking a walk and I'm thinking, okay, what else can I go solve? Yeah.
So at this point, have you, because a lot of software engineers, when they're starting out, their focus is usually, what language do I try out? Should I be a front end or a back end? Like, which is the language I should stick to? At this point, do you have a focus on a language, or how was your decision making around that?
So the good thing is at the program they were deciding for us.
Okay.
But it wasn't like cast in stone.
Okay.
It was like C# is the default. But if you want to do Java, you could still do Java. There's some people who are doing Python the whole program, and it was fine. But for me, I was like, the language that this lady is using, that's the one I want. Because now she has more context on it, and it would be easier for me if I have questions to master one language. And then now I could be able, because I feel like sometimes it's all about the principles. Because then it's like after that, I could look at Java code and be like, okay, I understand what's going on here. I could look at, okay, not assembly language, but like I could look at something like Python and be like, okay, I can see what's going on here. So for me, my main goal was to master one. Master one and be good at it, that I could use it for interviews, for whatever. Just be good at it. And then I could be like, okay, probably won't pursue the others, but I could understand what was going on in those contexts.
Okay. Does the program still exist?
Which program?
The Microsoft Leap. Yeah.
Unfortunately, not. In Kenya right now. I think the last cohort was either earlier this year or last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But Kamilimu still exists.
Kamilimu is still running. And every time I meet our tech students, I'm always telling them, please
join Kamilimu.
Join Kamilimu. Kamilimu, I don't need to add more. Just join Kamilimu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you are about to finish at what point did you now apply for Microsoft?
So while we were at the program, there are some girls who are like already getting like offers to join, because they would interview. And then mind you, we were being trained, like heavily training on how the process is, like algorithms. We're being taught how to approach questions. And even the thing about like Kamilimu is like it trained us also on the soft skills, because sometimes it's just not about like writing code. It's like, okay, will the person interviewing you want you to be in their team? So we were being trained in a holistic kind of a way. So yeah, like we would be told like, guys, there's an opening. Do you guys want to apply? Here's the link, apply. Some would apply, some would be like, okay, I don't feel quite ready. And at that time, like Microsoft was scary, I won't lie. We used to be like, wow, do we really want to apply? And at the time, the folks in Redmond used to interview people. At least now we see a lot of Kenyans now doing the interview. But at the time, 2022, all the interviews were mainly being done from the HQ.
Watu wa maju.
Huko like guy nita struggle like English
alafu code.
As in the math was not mathing. Yeah. So it was like, I remember even fearing. I was just like, hey, I'm not ready. I was like, hey, kuna time I'm not ready. But then kuna time nikapata tu, you know what, let's just do it. Like if we've been preparing, it's not like they're going to ask us anything outside of the tech field. They're going to scope it to this.
Yes.
So trusting in your preparation, and also our mentor was very encouraging. It's like, yeah, just go give it a try. There's some people who failed at the first attempt, the second attempt, they made it. So it was just a matter of, let's just keep at it. Thankfully, I made it in my first attempt. But girl, it was una struggle English, but yeah, you still have to deliver.
Anything you would pick up as a lesson from that season of interviewing and actually landing the role? Any lesson that you would say, okay, if you're doing interviews, hold on to this?
Yeah, so I feel like one of the things that I was actually very shocked is like, it's just the same things across. You know, sometimes you would think, man, if I'm your interview, they're probably gonna ask me something out of this world. But bro, one of my interviews was a string question, like the basic data type. You would, you know, someone would be like, I'll ignore the strings. They probably won't ask me that. But they do. And it's just not asking on like a surface level. They would ask you in a way to see you have mastery of that content. So huwezi just say, okay, let me find strings, integers, nimeanza data structures, I'm looking at this. Like, do you really understand how they work? Because I realized one thing about them. They were very, like, you see the way you'd interview someone and ask a follow-up question.
Yes.
You say something and now they're pegging on that. So it's not like you can go with the mindset of nimekram answer. So I'm going to like dump this on the person. The person is gonna stop and ask you, okay, you've said this, what does this mean? Like, do you have the depth to like explain those concepts in a way that they'd be like, okay, you understand what you're talking about.
Wow.
So that was one of the things that I picked up. Another thing I picked up, confidence as well, because my last interview they asked me a very hard question, and normally for software engineer, like a junior level, you'd expect technical only. They normally don't go into like system design because that's like senior or software engineer too. For me, they did ask me, yet they knew I was like straight from campus joining a junior role, but they did ask me. So you wouldn't tell them, hey, wait, no, you can't ask me that. I have mini junior. What are you doing? But we were prepared. We even did the system design questions. So in as much as I panicked, I was like, okay, breathe in, talk to the guy. Just talk to them. Because I was also like, I've been preparing. So in as much as I won't know exactly what he asked me directly, I will try and have a conversation for him to know that I have depth in all these other areas of system design. So we had a good conversation. We even finished earlier and started making like stories, and now he was telling me about what he enjoys as a dad. Like now we were now bonding on that. Okay, would you want me to be in your team? You know, sort of a thing. So it was such a deep question, but even from the review, they would be like, oh yeah, she knows so much for her level that, you know, she's interviewing for. So for me, I always go for overachiever than being got like unprepared or something.
Okay, so over-prepare, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can never over-prepare, actually. Just be knowing.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So you got in.
I got
Come
it.
on. So at this point, are you in as an intern?
No.
You are
Straight up
full-time software engineer. So Microsoft Leap was kind of the...
Microsoft Leap was just a program by Microsoft. So it wasn't really an internship. It was just
a program.
You guys are in a program. You're given a stipend. You're given laptops. And they used to send us flowers almost every 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just that. And then there's a time I got to intern for that vendor. So Microsoft has vendor teams. So I got to interview in one of those vendor teams. But now when I got the offer, that's when I joined Microsoft full time.
So where's your skill at this point? Your skill level?
My skill level, I would say mid. I'm getting into like mid. Like I don't feel like a junior anymore now. So I'm like, okay. Okay, sasa naona tunasonga. Okay.
How many hours did you used to code a day?
Back in the day?
Yes.
Like, oof, girl, that's a lot. That's a lot. So, because now you'd be coding during the day, and then sometimes you would even code over the weekend, which is something I don't do now. Probably because it's like, okay, I don't have that brain that would just constantly think of things to code out. But it was quite a lot. Yeah, I wouldn't know the exact number, but it was a lot.
Average, you know, sometimes I feel like I think I'm coding 4 hours and I think I'm really pushing it.
No. 4? Girl, what are you talking about? What is 4?
We limit ourselves.
Because, okay, so like, for example, when we're in the program, you would be given, is it 3 or 2 questions? And each question is like 1 hour. So you're doing 1 hour, time ends, you do another 1 hour. So that's already 2 hours outside of the time you're going to spend either debugging because it didn't work or either preparing for that section of time that you're going to have with that. But also one of the things that we also used to do is we would do like mock interviews with like staff who work at Microsoft. Yeah. So you just reach out to them and be like, hey, can we schedule a meeting? And then you give me a question and then I prepare. So that also, so as you're preparing for that, you see you're extensively coding. And then also lead code was very useful and it has so many questions. So you'll just be constantly practicing. Yeah.
Okay. So for the dev who's at they're in their beginning and they may not have been as lucky to have like a program, whether it's Chameleon or Microsoft Leap, and they really want to get into Microsoft. What things would you tell him or her to focus on?
I am big on fundamentals. As I have already mentioned, fundamentals go a long way. Like, okay, fine, we can talk about all this new stuff, but like if you don't know the fundamentals, how is the big stuff even going to help you? Like, even if you like use AI to help you code, how are you going to verify that the code is actually going to work for your scenario? So I feel like fundamentals is very important, because one of the things we used to see a lot in campus was people are talking big about, oh, I'm doing this project. You tell them, okay, implement a function that does this and this and this, and they can't. Or explain the time complexity of this algorithm. They can't. Explain the space complexity of this, they can't. So those are like the building blocks of coding. So I would implore them, urge them, focus on the fundamentals. As much as you're trying to like understand all this big stuff, don't forget the basic stuff. Yeah.
Okay. That's one. So they would focus on fundamentals. And how would I increase my luck to get a shot at Microsoft?
Oh, that's a good question. So the good thing, like Microsoft has referrals. So back to networking. If you come and network with, let's say, someone like me, and we have a conversation, I can write for you a referral, right? Another thing is people just apply directly and they are lucky and they get in, you know? So they're like, I don't feel like there's one way to do it, because I have friends who apply directly. Now we're working with them. There's some I referred, we are working together. So I don't feel like there's, you know, a specific thing. But I would also urge them to like keep tabs with what the company is doing. Like if they're having like sessions for tech events and the recruiters are speaking, why not plug in and see what they're saying, especially in universities. They usually, you know, have events in the universities. They could plug in and see what's going on. I think that's the best way I would. Yeah. Okay.
And how have, especially, you know, where you're working, being a big corporation, how have you been seeing AI change your role aside from vibe coding? And, you know, how has AI changed your role and how are you looking at it with the software engineering role? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to start out software engineering and they're like, Nasasa AI.
I mean, AI is here to stay. And in as much as it's scary, I feel like sometimes I personally just don't want to think about it, like, because it's like, okay, I can see how you're moving, I can see how you're moving. But I feel like for us mostly is we're actually being encouraged at work to use it a lot. And it's things like, how do you increase your productivity as a software engineer while you're using AI? So things like Copilot, like instead, like, okay, you've written your code, you don't need to write the unit tests anymore, which would take you more time. Why not just use AI to generate test cases and write for you like your whole testing, whatever, for the unit test? Those are some of the ways that we're trying to incorporate it. Or we also have this called a specialized agent, where when you have a ticket, you can assign it to AI and it will do the work for you. So your role is to just come and see, okay, has it done what I expect it to do? If it's good, you're able to check it in. If it's not, then you were able to do the work yourself. Okay. So, yeah.
Tomorrow you woke up and somehow you had a baby, you had a child, and they want to do software engineering in 10, 15 years.
Okay.
What would you tell them?
Do they want to do it like professionally or for fun? Professionally?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. I hope it's not because they've seen me like doing it. hopefully it would be just something they find interesting.
Yeah, they've seen, mom's really successful. It seems like something cool. Mom, I want to be a software engineer in 10, 15 or 20 years.
Well, I'd start them early. It's like, at 7 years, you're definitely already starting to like practice. Because I feel like the disadvantage we have here is, well, I think now it's changing, but even for me, like imagine being introduced to coding when I'm 18. What if it was done earlier, let's say when I was in high school? I feel like, some of the concept that you're trying to learn later on, you would already, be familiar with. So I would just expose them to the good and the bad of it so that they can also decide. Yeah.
Would you have a fear around what software engineering looks like in 10, 15 years?
Definitely it's going to change. And I'm not sure how that's going to look like. But having seen what I have gone through as a software engineer, I wouldn't want another software engineer in my home unless they are very, very passionate about it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely gonna change. And not even 15 is like a long time. Let's say even 5 years. You actually don't know how things are going to look like. But I would discourage them on the low key.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your hypothesis on how it would change? Whether true or not, just your thought.
Whether true or not.
Yeah, hypothesis.
I honestly don't know. And I feel like it's okay not to know, because we've seen what it can do in a few years. So what about 10 years?
Yeah.
So I just think we have to wait and see. If you'll be here, that is.
I completely relate to that. It's also a question I find very hard to answer, even for my own role as a PM. So I get it fully. Yeah. So why would you discourage your child from doing software engineering? I
mean, it depends to the extent that they're trying to do. I know there's this notion where tech is very glorified, and that's my unpopular opinion. Like tech is glorified, but it also has its downside, I would say, especially when you're in a stressful, those kind of periods where it's like, this is, especially when the systems go down and maybe you're on call. I'm like, that's why I'm saying, like, I would show them both sides and not the glorified. I feel like from an outsider perspective, tech is usually like, wow, this cool thing, this thing that everyone is like, oh, you meet a guy, he's telling you he's in tech, and now they want to be like, hey, I'm the prize. I'm like, it's not always like that, So I feel like people don't talk about that other side as well, where it's like, sometimes you don't sleep. Sometimes you are stuck on things for a while and it's like draining, or the effects it has on your eyes the more you spend time on there. And I'd be like, is that the kind of life you want? Or are you like aspiring for something that would extend you a bit more, even physically or whatever? Because I feel like for someone like me, you just found yourself in that, and that's what I was like, okay, fine, I can still do it. But I would also want, them to also know that, okay, this is what you're signing up for. So like at work, we usually have this period where you're like on call. So you're the one monitoring the services. And when it goes down at 2 a.m., they will call you and you have to pick it up. So it's like, are you going to do that? And then you're stuck in a call and you're trying to figure out something where, like the managers are there, the IMs are there, and it's like high pressured environment. So it's like imagining there was an accident, it's the ER. Let's resuscitate this situation before it escalates. So I would definitely also show them that part of things. But also, you see, now it depends in the scale. If you're doing like big tech, that's what you're going to encounter. If you're doing a startup, maybe things might also look different depending on the size of the company and what it does. But I would just let them see what really is going on.
When things go down, especially big things like Microsoft things or AWS, we're always like, we somehow know it's high pressure on the developers. But could you take us through a season where it was extreme? This was tough, a tough work situation.
When you have those weeks where you're on call, like say you have primary and then the next week you're either backup or the other way around.
Help us, for those who don't understand, what does that mean?
So that means you are the first line of contact when things go down for your service.
Okay.
So Microsoft is big, of course.
Yes.
So depending on the team that you are in, whatever product you support, either service or whatever, you are the one in charge in case something just goes down, you're the one that gets called in. So you have a week where you're the primary, and then there's a week where you're the backup, so someone else is primary, but you're supporting them. So you're always 2 in each rotation. So high pressured, because once you get that phone call, and it's required your phone to be on sound.
Yes.
So for people who love D&D, you gotta let that go.
Yeah.
So you have to have your sound on. It comes in. Remember, I've had calls at 3 a.m. sometimes, at 9 a.m. and then the call extends up to 2 a.m. until the issue is resolved. Because when you have a company that prioritizes the customer, you have to do everything to make sure the customer is okay. And your customer is not okay if your service is down. So you go into a call, see what's happened, see what could have potentially caused the issue. Either you need to roll back a change that has introduced the issue so as to just mitigate that. And it's like high pressure. It's like, trying to do all these things while everyone is still asking for an update. It's like, where are we on this? Have we rolled back? Like the way you would see in movies.
Yeah.
So I would say like that's usually like the high pressured environment around it. But for me, sometimes I like it low-key because it's like the adrenaline. The adrenaline. It's like, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? We need to roll back. We need to do something. We need to push a fix for it. So in as much as it's usually that moment where everyone is just like, sometimes there's usually that kafan of like, that rush that comes with it.
Interesting. Yeah. What kind of lessons have you learned through those seasons?
Those seasons have taught me composure. In as much as bado, like, there's a lot going on. Can you just breathe, relax? Because panic, there's nothing that you'll be able to do. So you just need to cool down. Because I feel like at first I used to panic or get anxiety and start like doing everything. But I just realized the people who had more experience, whenever they were in these situations, they were calm. They were like, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I'm doing it, and I'm taking my time. Like, they're, of course, doing it with urgency, but they have composure. And I think that's something that comes with time and experience. But even in that call, you'd realize that the guys who have like higher ranks, they're usually, some of them are just cool because it's like, pressure the person who's supposed to do it, then they won't be able to do it. So I feel like some people have been in the space for many years that they actually know that, we can do this. They calm themselves down, and then they end up calming you down as the person who's actually performing those actions. So,
You've mentioned about eyesight. Help us understand how this role specifically, it's very rare that people discuss this, which is very interesting that you've brought it up. How this role has affected your health in general, because it's very sedentary, I would say.
That's the word I was looking for, actually.
And how you've tried to mitigate that.
Girl, you'll be asking the good questions. So I developed migraines. I never used to experience migraines before, but I think that exposure made my eyes sensitive to light. So nowadays I usually wear like anti-glare specs. And also because it's, very, you're not moving too much. Yes. I had to like join the gym. I had to like take that membership. Nowadays I take walks and I'm very intentional to the gym because it's like, I'm also not that person to like be in one place at one time. So I was like, I need to extend myself to be able to be like, I need to prioritize my health in as much as I am working. And for me, it's usually not even like, I'm doing this, because it's always like all this other time you're spending helping this company achieve its goals. What are you doing for yourself? So for me, it's usually like, you've built someone else's company. How am I building my own body, soul, mind, and everything, So you just have to take care of yourself, And once you start taking care of yourself, then it also translates to how you do your work. Then, it's just all interconnected in a sense. So I just turn off everything, go for a walk, a chuma 1 2 1 2, and then all is well. But you really have to. This is not even an option. You really have to.
There's a dev, Simon or Steven, anasema, but Beryl, you can do that because you're in Microsoft. You've already got there, quote unquote. I need to lock in. That's what they're saying. I need to lock in. You are saying that out of privilege. You can do that. But I don't have a job. I need to lock in.
But like, for work, really, I think anyone can. You can really, Steve, please come on.
See with someone. See with someone.
I'm like, Simon, come, let's take a walk with you.
Simon.
Yeah, but like, I feel like you should never prioritize anything else. Like, okay, you should never put your health at risk, in short. Because if you put your health at risk, you won't be able to work. You know, at work, we're always encouraged, whenever you're not feeling well, just take the time to be checked. Because once you're doing that work while you're not feeling well, you're probably outputting way less than you would when you are at 100. So it's like, okay, how long does it take to take a walk? If you take a 1 hour walk, you've done more than 7,000 steps. So it's like, can you just separate, like have that 1 hour to just, you know, make sure your body is active, because it also has its own benefits. Like, you know, so for me, it's always like prioritizing my health in as much as I'm also building. Because even as I was telling you, when I was not employed, I used to walk. Like as I was walking is when I was thinking of, oh, what should I go code? Like walking has always been a part of me. So I would code during the day. Ikifika 5, start everything, I'm out, I'm walking. And as I'm walking, I'm thinking, by the way, I had a bag. And slowly I'm start thinking, oh, actually, I could go and try it out this way. By the time I'm coming back to the laptop, I know what I'm going to do. Because also that disconnect also helps your brain to sort of process things in a better way.
That's so true.
So Steve Tembea.
Stephen,
No excuse. No
Stephen
excuses.
is my partner.
And
Tuseme Simon.
it's Simon Tembea.
Interesting. Yeah, because there's someone who said when you step away from the elephant, you can see it in full picture as opposed to being so close to it.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So up until this point, anyone who's listening to this is like, wah, Beryl amebahatika. Yani kuna katu nywe, you know? And the goal for young techies, as you know, is really to see what was the journey behind this success. So I want you to share with us what, up until today, what have been your most important lessons or the most difficult moments that taught you the most important lessons?
If that question is in 2 parts.
The most difficult moments and their lessons.
Oh, okay. So one of the difficult moments was, of course, that first time interacting in a computer science class, and I was like, man, what is this? And I even remember there's a time I was in second year and I tied with some guy in some math course, and they were like, because nimetai na Beryl nimefail. I'm like, I mean, and tulikuwa tumeperform fairly well. I think it's 21 out of 30. But the fact that unaona umetai na dem, because we were very few, because also the number started just decreasing over time. It's like, natai aje na yeye. You know, those were difficult moments. And then another difficult moment was, I remember there's also a time we had done an exam and we had failed the whole class. And the lecturer came na papers and she was like, you guys have failed. So I want to return the papers. You guys discuss and come up with answers before she was mad. So everyone knows to may fail. And she was like, group yourselves into groups. I want you to come into groups. So even the friends that you're with, some of them want to talk up because we're like, let's find other Chopis people and sit with them. I was left with one chick. When it tulikana nikamwambia, we ni sawa tu, we'll figure this out. Imagine they started giving out papers. We were just the two of us. Do you know I had the highest score? And now even the guy who left us, you see them now coming back and they're like, okay. And you know, even today I don't understand how I got the highest mark in that course. But just to show you that, in as much as even you might not even have allies in your space, people you'd consider your friends. But yeah, those were some of the difficult moments where I was just like, do I stay to just prove them wrong? Or do I just stay because I feel like I can belong? Because my journey has always been like, oh, napata hope kidogo, oh, there's this. Those passing of courses, ama unapata opportunity, or you join Kamilimu, or then you join sijui Lip. Like it has always been ups and downs, but I feel like the ups zimekuwa keeping me going also. And also maybe just trying to prove to them that, by the way, mlisema ngoja because of the next exam I'm gonna show you. Okay. So those were very difficult moments. I also feel like when I was about to finish my 4th year, I was like, maybe need transition to data, because I was feeling, hey, coding inakataa, say try something that I thought was softer, which I came to realize, of course, it's not soft at all. So yeah, Pia, you're not just having a proper guidance, but also leaning on community and mentorship, which worked out for me. And adaptability. I feel like, and I also don't want to glorify suffering, please. My life has been full of struggles. And I don't want to glorify them because it might, but I just think the person that I am, I was able to morph in those different seasons and just bring the best out of everything. And if you told me before, like, tech is what is gonna make you like be in the same room with people like Bill Gates or Viola Davis, I would be like, cut the camera. Where would I have met these people?
You're gonna have to send us those pictures.
Where?
We're gonna put them here.
What? So it's interesting. I was just trusting the process, even though I didn't know where the process was gonna lead me to.
Yeah, I remember Ben Psycho from the podcast Joyride.
Yeah,
he once said that he's found that life is a bit better when you allow the wind. Yes, you put in the work, but also kind of move with the flow in a sense. I see that some level of acceptance and knowing that this will still lead to a beautiful road. All right. Yeah. That's really cool. Okay. So I want to talk about an interesting topic. Layoffs. I know you haven't experienced it.
Bold of you to assume. But I'm kidding.
I've had a few guests here from big tech, and a lot of people are often, it is known that big tech is big with layoffs.
Yeah.
Is that, how do you have fears about that? How do you reconcile with that?
That's a very good question, and it's very realistic. Let's address the elephant in the room. It's like, let's not run away from this, because it's here, and it's affected people. It's affected my friends. It's affected, people that you've worked closely with, and it just not only affects them, but it also affects the people who stay, because it's like,
true.
Guy, you mean
this
is how what? Like, we're just having lunch yesterday and today you're not here. Some sort of grieving also happens at that point. Because I also remember we used to sit at the same side with Kirui. Shout out. And then all of a sudden, what? So it's very unfortunate. And I think for me, in as much as I haven't experienced it yet, God forbid, I got to a place of acceptance. At first it was very scary, like, wow. But then later on you come to the place of, okay, if it happens, it's not the end of your life, because do you have like that separation of, I am not my work? It's like you'll still maintain your value as a person. And that's why sometimes I always like, can we differentiate, like, there is me as a person and there's me. I'm not making tech my personality. I'm not making my work my personality. In as much as at first it's like, kuna your temptation, but I feel you get to a point where you're like, okay, these are two different things, and be like, we even started picturing, it's like, okay, if this happens to us, what are we gonna do? Like, we would meet for lunch with friends, we're like, okay, if it was you, what would you have done? Then we're like, okay, of course, tech wanapenda shamba, so everyone is like, yeah, I'm going to like be a farmer or whatever. But we have started having those conversations amongst ourselves, and you are like, okay, sawa, we've seen it happens to our close friends. It happened to us, Pia. It's not like we didn't expect it. We've seen it. So how do we move past it? So yeah. And I feel like the ones who went earlier didn't have this comfort of like being okay with it. So it was like, it has happened. But because we've seen waves and waves and waves, it's like, how do I even position myself when such a thing happened? How do I create still networks that I can still plug into when something like this happens? Or will I take some time off and just rethink my life? You know, maybe some people I've seen stories on LinkedIn, they were laid off and then now they're different people in an amazing way. So it just depends with how you see it, perspective. Because you also don't have control. So why worry about something you have no control over?
I really like that. Do you have a networking tip? You seem very big on community and networking.
That's crazy because, man, I get that question a lot. And I feel like I network. I'm open to speaking to people. So the last event I went, I actually spoke to a lot of students. And before, first of all, letting them know what I do, is just trying to have them be authentic and tell me, okay, so what do you do? Blah, blah, blah. Also just showing interest in what people are doing. I feel like that for me is, and it's not like ile ya kuweka ya kuforce. Like I'm genuinely interested. What are you doing? You know? And then after that, it's like, okay, let's link up on LinkedIn. And it's like, okay, now I'll be keeping tabs with what you're doing. So I'm very big on that. Or also, if I see people doing stuff that I'm interested in, I'd be like, oh yeah, can we have a conversation and talk more about this? So yeah, for me, that's always the hack. Or like if you introduce me to someone, I'll be interested to know what they're doing. So that's how I find it easier to like just talk to people and see what they're doing. Yeah.
You're interested in cybersecurity?
Apparently. I just learned about it.
Where is your interest coming from?
My interest is coming from, so last year I got a chance to participate in the Grace Hopper conference. So this is the largest gathering for women technologists in the world. Yeah, I've always wanted to go since 2018. Yeah.
What's it called?
Grace Hopper.
Grace Hopper, we're going to have
conference.
It there.
Yeah, so last year it was being done at Philly. So when I went there, I attended, I was actually gravitating towards security workshops, or I would see these ladies talking about security, and it just looked fun. It just looks sophisticated. It's just like the terms, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting. Because if you also think about it, security is everywhere. You cannot build a system without thinking about security. Like security is that thing that has to go with anything, because you won't launch a product and have it open to hackers and attackers. You also have to ensure it's secure. So I was like, okay, so if I pursue this, I'm probably securing my career in terms of where do I want to transition to, right?
Nice.
But I was also like, it sounds interesting. So that was my first initial kind of like interaction with cybersecurity. And I was like, okay, I connected with several of the speakers who did the conference and whatnot. So when I came back, we had one of the events at the office for cybersecurity. I joined, we were hacking. I was like, oh, this is so fun. So I was like, maybe I should start pursuing something along these lines. And yeah, that's just how my interest has been growing ever since. Yeah.
Is it easier now getting into security than it was when you're getting into software?
Actually, I like how I have sort of started with software engineer, so as to just understand how we're building this product, so that now on top I can now how do I protect it?
Nice.
How am I able to just do even these basic things for like security? Like, do you actually know how to, interact, or are you even familiar with these terms that are used in the security world? So I was like, yeah. And that adrenaline thing is also playing. It's like, okay, tuna try kufanya nini. It's like, okay. So,
it's really a testament to tech is like always learning and evolving. There's never like an end where it's like nimefika ceiling.
Exactly.
Interesting.
I like that. By the way, I like that about tech. It gives you options. Yeah. And I love that.
You will love the next part though.
Really? Yeah. I bet. Let's see.
Of course, NEKESA.
Okay.
Your first internship, how much were you being paid?
5K.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kwani Kevin umecheka? Kevin zipua.
Yeah,
Collect, yeah. 5K. Wow.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
if anything, actually, I was like, guys, I feel like I should be the one paying you. Because at the point, I was like, this is the point where I was like, okay, I want an internship that's going to teach me how to do things. So I feel like I was actually getting more value for me being there than like my output to them. So it was like, why are you guys paying me? I hope this is just fair that mnanisaidia nayo. But honestly, I wasn't thinking about it like, I was just like, I'm learning. Maybe I should be paying you guys so that equal like I'm in a boot camp, so I'm learning. But yeah, they were gracious enough to extend me that 5K and life was moving good until I met one of my friends now. He's also working in another big tech and he was like, how much are you being paid? And I told him, it was like, what? Nisisikia umesema kitu kama hiyo. He was so mad. He was pissed. He was like, what do you mean 5K?
Yeah.
So for him, he was like, no, like he's also that friend of mine when tunapenda like kuchochana, and he's really good. So he was like, hapana Beryl, nisikupate umerudi huko. You need to have better. So he just gave me that talk while we were going home at the stage up of your center. And he go, wow. Okay, I think, I'll try better next time. But yeah, that was the initial.
That's a very interesting point you brought up, because sometimes from your perspective, you're getting more value than they're offering you. The 5K is even so much. But from someone else's perspective, it's like, oh, that's too little. Which, what I'm picking from here is, because there's so many, kila mtu ako kwa season yake, it's important to understand where you see, because to him, he didn't understand that you're in your season of learning. And so this makes a lot of sense. It does. Otherwise, you'd have quit and been like, no, I deserve better.
I deserve better now.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's a very interesting thing you brought up. Okay. Sasa, Microsoft Leap, are you being paid?
No, we're just giving like internet stipend up.
Okay.
Kushikilie masafara.
Sasa big tech in general, what is a range of what anyone would expect in big tech?
You would expect a lot. I feel like, also just depending with which company. And also, as I've mentioned, times have changed. Me, I joined Kitambo, like what, 4 years? 4 years ago. So right now, things might be different. But from what I've heard, maybe 300 maybe to 450 there. Like, and that's just like entry, like straight from campus. So now you extrapolate for your own in those other levels. But yeah, that's what I've heard across the big techs within.
Okay. As we wind up, if you were to break it down to 3, I know one of the answers.
Yes.
If you were to break it down to 3 pillars that have got you to where you are now, what would those 3 pillars be? Okay,
are we saying the first one together?
Yes.
In 3, 2, 1.
Community.
Okay, which is the same. Yeah, okay. You got it actually. Community, mentorship, and networking. I grouped them into one. Because honestly, I don't feel like I could have done this alone. Because even when I was in Leap, we had a community of girls that despite of us meeting in those 2 scheduled calls, we would meet on our own. And it's like, okay, let's do it together. That was, without that, Mimi, so how? So community goes a long way. Mentorship, also just having someone to look up to or have conversations. And Camille was giving me that, and it was plugging me to a lot of industry professionals. So whichever field I was interested in, I could get insights on what to do to be able to grow in those areas. So that was quite big. And that lateral networking, how my friends have plugged me to opportunities, be it conferences or just tech events, even within Nairobi. That also took me quite far. And the second pillar I would mention is growth mindset. Also because kitambo I used to be that person of like, me, I feel like nimefika saturation of knowledge, like I'm good. But in tech, you definitely have to have that growth mindset, sort of, so that you know that, okay, what can I learn here? And it's interesting how sometimes even when you're collaborating, you would see like a senior and I lack some knowledge on something, and you tell them and you're like, oh, so I actually can add value. That's why it's important to speak up, because it's like you never know what value you're bringing. So yeah, growth mindset. Learn how to just learn new things and take them as they are. And then lastly is, I would say, adaptability. Just being able to, actually not adaptability, audacious. Be audacious. Yeah, be audacious. Go for it. Actually, don't tell yourself no. Me, I'm always like, kuna vitu nime apply, and I was just like, of course, rejections ni mingi, but ukikuwa na a lot of applications, one of them will just itajipa. Lazima tu itajipa. So I'm always up to something. I'm always applying for something. I'm always just doing something. And I feel like even when I was in campus, I knew I wanted to work for Microsoft. And I remember I did an interview 2018. I just want to joke who could remember, but I was just there showing up. I was like, yeah, so what do people do here? So yeah, probably wasted the guy's time, but I was just like, I want to see how, So yeah, just be audacious. Follow your dreams, Go for it. Usijambie no. Let them tell you no, but don't tell yourself no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the three things.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. What is it about you think that has really contributed? What is it about you that has really contributed?
About me?
Yeah.
I feel like it's God's grace, honestly. Wacha tusieke mambo mingi, Sometimes just God would favor you, I would say. And it's like, man, hata mi siwezi eleza. Like, I can't explain. In as much as there are these things about me,
yes.
Bruh, man, saa zingine tu ni favor. And that's why sometimes I'm always very skeptical about giving someone a blanket advice, because it's like saa zingine ikitu ni divine ama ni it's God's grace. Honestly, I cannot explain it. So yeah, I don't take that for granted. Sometimes nakanga even call like, any God, these are the days I used to pray for. These are the days I used to tell you in secret. When I was just taking those walks, I'd be like, manze God, see you come through. Na aka come through. So just being able to see from that perspective as well, I feel like it is what it is, man. Ni God.
Wow. We've been watching Young Techiez. You can tell there's a pattern. A lot of the guests also say there is an outside force. There is some luck, there is some grace, there is some favor that leads up to this, even as you put in your work. So that's very interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Now, tell us, you were talking about an unpopular opinion. Ebu tuambie.
I thought tulimaliza hiyo.
Hapana, sema.
What was it? No, I feel like I saw this thing on Twitter where someone alikuwa meka 2 frames and they were like, my age mates are like how they spend their time. So they're clubbing, having fun, and then all these certifications are tech. So he wants to feel like he's better than everyone else. And then everyone was just like, I mean, people just can't live a little because you're getting a certification. I mean, come on. So yeah, I feel like that's glorification.
Tech is over glorified.
I know even some guys, I remember my sister was dating some guy and alikuwa na maringo, like, I'm in tech. Hey, niko like, sawa basi, I'm also in tech. But so there's that
shemeji,
tulia, tunazaongea mambo ya debugging, So yeah, I feel like there's a lot more of the good side, and the maybe not so good part is also not spoken about a lot, which, yeah, it's like, let's just be honest, it's not all that. At the end of the day, it's a career. It's like work at the end of the day. So I also try to just don't make it your personality. See ukijintroduce niko tech. Guy, imagine there's more to life than that. I don't feel like watu wengine ujintroduce and the next thing you'll also have to know it's what I also do. Because at first you're a human. Can we know you at that point first before we get to know, okay, so what do you do? And also, I also feel like none of these careers where, it's like if something happens to you, unfortunately, and your brain just doesn't work, what's going to happen? Because all your identity is now linked to mini tech sis, mini tech bro. Ama something happens to your hands because then you need to type. It's like, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That was a very good one to drop the mic. Final word to Young Techiez.
Final word to Young Techiez. Actually, by the fact that they are here, community. which is what I've also been, just trying to emphasize on. And I would tell them to lean on community as much as they can. Don't try to figure this thing out alone, because even at work, we don't work alone, we work in teams. So don't put yourself in a silo and miss out on what you can be able to expedite just because you have networks. And yeah, just go for whatever you want to go. Let them tell you no, but don't tell yourself no. Kake.
Oh, that was so nice. Thank you, Beryl.
Thank you for having me. You're such an awesome interviewer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's on cut.
Tumeongea non-stop.